what do you tell your guys to keep them encouraged?
Stay with
I
it.
know it's early, but
Yeah, stay with it. We played and battled some tough teams. And the biggest message tonight is just stay the course. We talked about offensively and defensively being better in the second half, and I thought defensively we were really good in the second half. We competed. They scored some baskets, which they can do. But offensively, we just, we didn't take our shots when we were open. We turned down some shots. We did complete when we had, 2-on-1, 3-on-1 breaks. We didn't complete those. And then having 22 turnovers, against a team that wants to get out in transition. They want to turn you over and play fast. And so offensively, we didn't take care of that part. But in the first half, we were good offensively and, terrible in the second half. But defensively, I thought we did some really good things, throughout the course of the game. And it's something to hang our hat on. We got to continue to keep getting better offensively. We got to be confident in the shots that we're getting, that we're turning down, and then just making the right, simple play. And so just continue to keep building off that.
You needed a timeout, 30 seconds into that second half. What were you seeing that you couldn't let the team kind of play through? You had
Same thing we've been seeing the last few games. Start the third quarter, can't get open, slow pace. Not get into our offense, not owning our space, and then defensively, they had 3 offensive rebounds, I think, in one possession. So we didn't want to start the half out like that, and they came back, they responded. Responded defensively for sure, and then offensively, you got to continue to keep getting better.
I know you've talked a lot about searching for some of those bench combinations that you like with guys that work together. Some of those groups struggled tonight. What did you see from some of those bench lineups that struggled?
Well, just trying to keep Zoo in, with that second unit, which has been, numbers-wise, been good for us. But Zoo, I think, got a little ran down today, a little tired, and he wasn't his usual self around the basket and finishing. So that kind of hurt us. We had a chance to get some dunks or, his little jump hooks in the paint, which we didn't finish tonight. So that's what allowed them to kind of get out in transition and kind of take advantage of us. But I did like it. I thought that was one of KP's best games as far as getting into the paint, making the right play, getting guys shots, getting guys involved. And it was good for us. So, coming back next game, we'll take another look at it, just kind of see with that second unit, having Zoo on the floor with those guys and see how it looks.
And Coach, James and Norm didn't start the fourth, and OKC was able to push their lead to 13, 93-80. When you guys struggle to score, do you ever think about maybe getting those guys in a little earlier so you can kind of keep pace so the game doesn't get out of hand?
Yeah, I think about it all the time. But if you watch the game, James Harden played the whole first quarter, so you can't bring it back 1 minute into the fourth. So we got to stay afloat. That's why we kept him in the game. Like I said, I like that combination. I think Zoo did start the fourth, if I remember correctly, didn't he? Yeah. So I don't know what game you're watching, but don't worry about it. Huh?
Norman James.
Oh, Norman James. Yeah, I mean, we try to stay afloat in that third quarter, because they were scoring, we weren't really scoring as much. And then coming back with that second unit, the way KP has scored and assisted the basketball, we scored with that second unit, and having Zoo on the floor, I thought would be okay. But like I said, they had Shai out of the game. I thought there was a chance we can get James and Norm some rest, and they kind of extended the lead.
Coach, the last 2 games you guys jump out in the first quarter, and keep the 3-point shot was very key because you guys outmade the visiting team and then were able to stop them. Is there going to be any emphasis going forward to, hey, we got to make sure that we're knocking down these threes and contesting outside?
Taking our open threes for one, I think we probably turned down 7 or 8 today that we could have, taken. And so we got to be confident to take our shots. And then, with them, they made 16 of 39. So just making sure we're getting out to the shooters. We want to close the chest, make those guys put the ball on the floor, and then defensively we can fly around, So they put you in some compromising positions, with Chet at the 5, and they flare and screen for him, pin downs for him, and Zeus trying to chase. And, we got to switch to flare screens, which in the first half we did a good job with. In the second half, we could have did a better job. So, they're a good team. They know how they want to play. They know the style they want to play. Their guys have been there. They're used to the system. And, that's why they were number 1 in the West last year. That's why they're 6-0.
Ty, with this trend of, obviously, it's a long game. Teams are going to make runs, but you guys play well to start these games, but then to close, it just seems like maybe it's fatigue. I guess, is there a way to counter fatigue, or is that maybe not what you think is what you're seeing out there?
I ask myself the same thing every night. Tomer, just is it fatigue? Can we do something different? But same team, both teams are starting. The third quarter like we started in the first quarter. It's the same team, so we got to be able to come out in that third quarter. We got to have a mentality that we want to be aggressive defensively like we always are, and we want to attack. Like we don't want to be back on our heels. That's why I called the early timeout. I thought they took up our space. I thought they denied us. They got into us. And we didn't respond, until I called the timeout. Then we got a little better at it, but still just not taking shots that we need to take, being confident in our shots, and so and we're going to get better with that.
Are you guys still learning, or is Lue also still learning just how to play out of the post as a playmaker more now that he's getting more attention?
We got to give him more space. I think you can watch it and you can see it. We post feed, we want a baseline cut to take the defender away, and then we want to pick away with the guy at the top. And a lot of times we just stood, and so he had nowhere to go. He had to play in a crowd all night, and so that's not how we want to play when we post Zoo. We want to give him space, and so we didn't do a good job with that.
Last one. Ty, you mentioned it's been a couple games now in a row. Come out in the third quarter, don't execute the message that you've been giving them. How does that change? Is it a different? Do you just get on them more? Do you kind of just let them play their way into it, or are there changes that you
call
have to
every
make?
time out until we get it right?
Call every time out until you get it right?
Yeah, we responded. Like I said in the third quarter, they won the quarter 28-21. But I thought we responded. But it's just hard to beat good teams when you turn the ball over 22 times. Like if you're not getting shots on goal against these elite teams, it's hard to win games. No matter how good your defense is. And if we didn't turn it over 22 times, they might have scored 90 points, So we just got to be better taking care of the basketball, making sure we're getting shots, getting the right shots, and not turning down shots.
And then also in the first quarter, you guys took 16 threes. But then later on,
Say again?
in the first quarter, you guys took 16 threes. And then the other 3 quarters, it seemed like they did a really good job of also keeping you out of the paint. That's a place you guys have kind of lived through the first 5 games. What did you see that they were doing defensively that basically negated you guys in both areas?
I don't want to tell you.
You don't want to?
I don't want everybody else to try to start. we need every advantage we can get, So, but, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, Justin.
Well, all 4 games here at home, second halves always seem to be the same trend. What's the feeling like now in the locker room? Is it still confidence?
What it feel like when you standing in here? What it feel like?
Don't feel very good, bro.
It's nasty right now, but we just got to figure it out. And I think we're playing good. 28, 32 minutes of basketball, but we just got to stay with it. I think T. Lue showed the stats these last 5 games. Where we're at offensively, defensively, first half to second half. Thought we did a good job defensively this half. In the second half coming out, playing hard, rotating, scrambling. That came together, but offensively, we got a little stagnant. Couldn't make a basket to slow their run, even when we were playing good defense, Got some good offensive players there. They moved the ball, they made some shots, and we just couldn't stop the bleeding offensively. So picked up our intensity defensively. Now we got to figure out the offense and just stay with it.
Is it something you can't quite put your finger on yet?
It's a multitude of things. The first thing I do is look myself in the mirror and see what I can do better. See how I can, rally the guys. Try to be vocal and encouraging on the bench, watching the game, telling guys to shoot, telling guys to attack, play aggressive, get the ball out in transition. Hopefully we can generate some easy baskets that way. First thing I do is look myself in the mirror and look at my game film and see how I can improve with the minutes out there before I look at anything else.
Does fatigue come in at all, when it comes to you and James? Because it seems like the defenses just start hounding you guys after these hot starts these past couple games.
It's something that I'm prepared for, ready for. And when defenses try to take us away, they're giving something up. So, it's just trusting the pass, trusting your teammates to make the play when, you're causing 3-4 guys to collapse the paint when you're attacking, kicking out to guys for open shots, and them having the confidence to shoot those shots, even if they missed the first 2-3. You gotta keep taking those shots. We gotta keep generating those plays. And then I think T. Lue did a good job of making sure T-Man and DJ alleviate pressure as well, you know, especially with teams that want to pick up and hound the ball. Having those guys initiate offense, you know, to give different looks. But it's going to be a collective thing. You know, fatigue isn't a thing. We're professional. We prepare for it. You know, it's just woes of early season. We got to figure it out.
Ty mentioned before the game, basically you noticed the trend of how late you guys were getting into your triggers and your sets in the fourth quarter. Kind of just at times walking it up and stuff like that. Is that a byproduct of what other teams are doing to you, or is it also, or could it also be you guys not getting into it as fast as possibly you guys could?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both, you know. I mean, it's kind of hard to get into your sets when, you know, you're taking the ball out the basket. But still, you know, we can't get discouraged. You know, the ball coming to basket like teams do, you know, the fast teams, OKC, Atlanta, you know, Detroit, watching them play. As soon as they score, they're getting the ball out the basket and pushing it up before the defense gets set. And we got to kind of have that mentality as well. Try to find gaps in the defense, even when they do score. You know, we're coming right back with the same intensity and getting into our stuff. So it's a mix of both. And we just got to have that mindset. You know, no matter what happens, you play good defense for 24, they get a rebound, kick out, they get a three. You know, we got to go right back at them. And I think it's a mindset thing that we got to develop really quickly, especially in the second half.
What's going to be the best way to sort of alleviate some of those turnovers? You had 22 more tonight as a team.
Being sure with our passes and taking open ones. I think today when we passed up, you know, the open looks that we generated, you know, it led to that offense. You know, you gotta take the open shots that the defense is giving you. You know, when you're passing down shots and driving into the teeth of the defense with a team like OKC who packs the paint, who really helps. They're long, they're physical. You know, it kind of puts you in a tough spot. So, you know, when we generate good looks, we got to take them. And just being strong with the ball, setting screens, getting guys open. I think it's a collective thing.
7,000 career points for yourself. Just how important are these, you know, individual milestones?
I really don't care, man. I want to win games, man. I hold myself to winning. You know, points don't really matter if you're losing. So whatever.
How can y'all be better in small lineups and lineups that don't have Zoo or Kai on the floor?
Continue to work, man. We got to continue to execute and figure it out. We got to go through it in practice and get reps, man, with anything. The comfortability, the chemistry, and what we're trying to actually get to, we got to go through it. You know, different lineups out there, different guys out there, different guys that do different things. Their small ball lineups, they got a lot of shooters. Our small ball lineups, we got a lot of defenders and guys that play on the attack. So, you know, trying to make opening and advantages in our offense when it's small ball lineups and attack the paint. You know, they're small. There's no rim protection, so we got to be able to get to the teeth of the defense and finish and generate some looks on the outside.
Thanks, Norm.
Thank you.
And then, you know, quarter by quarter kind of like fizzles out. Is it just early season fatigue, or just teams finding ways to stop some of the stuff that helped you guys early?
I think a little bit of both. I think I'm not really sure what it is. It's hard to really put my finger on it. So, you know, film will tell us the story.
Even though it's early, is there a sense of maybe guys being a little discouraged right now because you're losing close games? Before tonight was a little bit bigger margin.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we don't have any young dudes that are that haven't been through it before. So, you know, I think a bunch of guys know what it is. It's a long season. You know, we just got to November, so and we lost a bunch of close games. We've been up in every game. So, you know, we know what we're capable of.
What's it going to take to get this turned around in the right direction?
It's a balanced game. You know what I mean? A balanced game. You know, I feel like we played well defensively in the second half, but our offense was messed up, and I feel like, you know, the last game, you know, I don't know, the Suns made all their shots in the third quarter. They were tough shots. There's nothing we could do about that. That was tough, you know, so it's just like, you know, a balanced game.
Ty had mentioned before the game that, you know, he had looked at like the data and stuff on how late you guys were getting into your triggers and sets in the fourth quarter. Kind of how do you guys remedy that? Like, is it something other teams are doing to you, something you guys are doing to yourself?
It's definitely self-inflicted for sure. You know, we got to figure that part out, and I think we will.
This morning you mentioned initiating the offense yourself so that James and Norm didn't have to do it as much, and you did get to do that tonight. How does it feel? What are your goals as you continue working into that type of role?
My goals are just to make it, you know, less stressful for James to be able to fight pressure and then having to fight the pressure for the first 6 seconds of the shot clock, 6 to 8 seconds, and then have to come up and then use a ball screen. And you know what I'm saying? It's a lot on him. So just being able to, you know, use me as a trigger, use me as a primary ball handler, and, you know, take the heavy load off him.
And most of the quarters you guys win, the difference is the three-point line, the way that you guys are making shots and stopping other teams. Has Coach kind of emphasized the three-ball being really important for you guys?
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Terance.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Terance.